Yet the difference between the two of them was not their intention. It wasn't the basic, goodness of their heart. But the one was actually walking a path that would lead there, and the other just wasn't. It's the principle of the path. It explains why some people succeed. Those righteous dreams and ambitions are there, and others don't. Just like the principle of Archimedes explains why a 5-ounce pebble sinks to the bottom of the lake, and a 51-ton battleship floats. So the principle of path explains why two seemingly good people have one of them end up where they want to be and another one not. I'm in the middle of coaching season now, right? I coach cross country. We had our second meet of the year yesterday. And I find something interesting that I've seen it happen year after year after year now. In the summer, I have certain athletes that kind of boast about how good their year is going to be. Man, this year we're really going to do something. This year I'm going to set a personal record. This year I'm going to break this, break that. We're going to do this. I'm going to achieve that goal. I can hear athletes talk about it. And some might be a little cocky, and some are just going, boy, these are the goals I'm setting. And I hear a lot of talk. And then the season actually begins, and off we go. And some of them actually achieve those great goals, and others don't. Even though they have ability. And I ask myself the question, how come you did and you didn't? And then I go, tell me, what did you do in the off season? And you know what's always true of the people who achieve? Well, I did the training program that you gave us. I put the miles in. And I looked at those who didn't, and I go, what did you do in the off season? And I go, I ran a couple times. Look, the principle is, it's what you do in the off season that determines how well you do in season. And I can always tell later on who actually did what, no matter what they said, no matter what their intentions were, no matter how much they wanted. I can always tell when the season comes who's the ones that actually trained before the season got there and the ones that don't. Because the trainers tap into the principle of what I do in the off season determines how I succeed during season, and it all plays and it's absolutely unavoidable, inescapable, and universal. Just like the principle of path. God uses other metaphors to have the same principle explained to us. He switches from a traveling metaphor to a farming metaphor in Galatians chapter 6, verses 7 and 8, where he says, do not be deceived, God isn't mocked, because whatever you sow, that you will reap. Duh, right? You sow corn seed, you usually get very good, like 8 of you knew that. You plant, pea seeds, and you get what? Peas. I mean, duh. We all know that. What you sow, you reap. Only God is using this in other ways. He's using it spiritually, relationally, financially, in every single way. It's the same principle. It's not rocket science. It's predictable. The reason some people seem to succeed and others seem to fail when they both look the same righteous things is the principle of the path. If you want to get there, you've got to walk the one way that inevitably leads to the one place you're going to be. And if you're walking another way, you can't get there. Final observation I want to share with you this morning. And that observation is that this principle can be leveraged for our good. I mean, it's always going to be, even if we don't know it's there, it's always applied to us every day, the whole 9 yards. It explains why some people succeed, why some people fail. That's all true. But now that I know about this, I can use the power of this principle for good in my life. I can leverage it for good. It's kind of like the principle of compound interest. It can either work against you or for you, right? If you've got a lot of consumer debt, credit cards and whatnot, compound interest is a lot of power, and it's working against you. It's why the credit card companies make so much money. Because that compound interest going on, because they're getting more, they're getting more, and they're getting more, and it takes you a long time, and the next thing you know, I got $10,000 worth of stuff, and I only paid $30,000 for it. Ooh. By the time it's paid for, I got to replace it. Well, the principle of the path is kind of like compound interest. you get it working for you, you do. You invest it, you put it in places, it begins going your way. It's all your choice. Work against you, work for you. Same thing with the principle of the path. It can be leveraged for our good. It can be leveraged in two powerful ways. Here's the first way it can be leveraged. It can help us to avoid places that we don't want to be, that will waste chunks of our lives. We can use this principle to avoid paths that will waste chunks of our lives taking us someplace we don't want to be. When you and I are traveling, and we get on the wrong road, the wrong path, and we get lost, how much of our life gets wasted? Minutes? Sometimes hours? How do you feel when you've wasted hours because you've been on the wrong road? Oh, that is so irritating. It's horrible. You know, normally when I'm driving, I'm a very spiritual and godly man. But when I discover I've been going the wrong way on the road, or I took the wrong road, and I went like a half an hour, like an hour, it's like, man, I just lose it. I lose it. I mean, God gets out of my car going, I'm not responsible for what happens now. Because as I get so irritated, I just took 1 hour of my life, flushed it down the toilet, gone, can never get it back. It's so irritating we do that when we're traveling. You know what? What happens when we take the wrong path in life? Finances, marriage, kids, spiritual, intellectual development. What happens when we take the wrong path there? Look, we don't waste minutes. We don't waste hours. We waste months and years and decades and seasons of life that we can never do back. So took the wrong road. You know, it's like you're only in your 20s once. You know, you only are a young married couple once. So many seasons of life, they're here and then they're gone and they never come back again. And if we get on the wrong path, we can have whole seasons of life. It was just wasted. It was just not what it could have been, should have been. And it's just complicated my life now. And yet if we apply the principle of the path, we can avoid those paths that would just waste big chunks of our life. Because if we think in terms of the principle of the path, we will ask ourselves this simple question. This question is not original with me, but I love it from the moment I heard it. The question was like this. Given my past experience and my future dreams, is this the wise thing to do? Isn't that a great question? Given my past experience and what I've been, what I've done before, given what my future dreams really are, is this right here, is going this way, doing this thing, is that the wise thing to do? Will that lead me where I want to go? Who I want to be? What I want to accomplish? What my dreams feel like me? Hopefully we're going to pick up these things as we go through life. You know, here's one. This is profound. You're going to want to write this down. This will help you when you actually travel. Because when I'm traveling, and remember, I have a wife, I had 2 daughters, okay? And one daughter in particular, and x-rays have confirmed this, has a kidney. Actually, only that. That's all the bigger it is. And basically, you cannot pretty much make it from one exit to another without having to stop and use the restroom. And so we're always, looking for restrooms as we travel. And what we've discovered is, as on a general rule, McDonald's bathrooms are cleaner than most of the bathrooms you find. So we thought, well, this is great. We can get a little something to eat. We can let my daughter use the restroom, and anybody else might happen to need to, and then off we go on our trip. So, you're traveling down the road, I'm looking for McDonald's. And I'll see a sign that says, McDonald's next exit. Like, yes, and I'll announce to everybody, next exit McDonald's. And they're like, yay! And one of my daughters going, quick! And so I take that exit, and I pull off there, and it says, McDonald's, turn right. And I turn right, and then inevitably, I'm driving, and I'm going, where are we headed? And then you see the sign, McDonald's, 5 miles ahead. God!